Yeah, so I've been in the beauty and fashion industry for almost 15 years now, which I can't even believe how long it's been. I've always loved both. I've never been one to do like heavy makeup or, you know, a really huge, long skincare routine, but both always mattered to me so much. Like it really was something that I always paid attention to, always thought about. I realized what we put inside of our bodies and what we put on the outside of our skin are both so important. And so over the years, I started to spend more time focusing on that kind of stuff and talking about it in magazines, talking about it on TV, talking about it on all my different platforms and channels. And I'm lucky enough to be a judge for a UK-based beauty awards competition, which is amazing. I get to try a lot of different products that are mostly natural. I think you do have to pay attention to still what the ingredients are and what we're putting on our skin, and reading even more about it, not just looking at is it organic or is it natural, but what are the ingredients and what are they doing and how are they helping our beauty routine, and realizing that sometimes it's really the simplest ingredients in a product that can do the most. You know, we don't have to have a ton of layers or a ton of scents and fragrances and everything in a product for it to work really well on our skin. And for me, that's been a big, important part of my routine.
Yeah. And I'd love us to talk about fragrance for a second, because it's something that I haven't actually touched on much, but there's so many like natural products, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well, that are out there, but they all like, the problem I always had with like looking at natural products is the scent was so strong that I'm just like, I don't even want that anywhere near me. Like it was too strong. Yeah. Or there'd be like lavender or rose, like really potent smells.
I have the same thing. Or it's like, I notice a lot of serums have the same smell, whatever the scent is that they're using in serums. I feel like they're the same. And it just gets to be too much. Like you almost want to not, if it doesn't have a scent that you enjoy or that you like, you almost don't want it to have a scent at all. So I think that's like a very delicate balance for a brand to have.
And the thing is that like, even if like, or there might be a range that has serums, and one's rose, one's lavender, one's coconut, one's something else, and so they're all the same, they just have different smells in them, right?
Yes.
So one, essential oils, which I'm going to do a big live on another day. You know, people are quite sensitive to some of the essential oils. So it depends what you're sensitive to and what your body likes and that kind of thing. And the other thing is that I decided not to put any essential oils in our elixir and our serum, so that like if you, for instance, like lavender, and I hate lavender, and I always talk about lavender is because it was like, you know, it's like one of the first natural things that people go to. So you can just put whatever essential oil you want in your product, give it a shake, and then you can smell like that. So you can personalize everything.
I think that's a nice thing. I don't know if everyone always thinks of that or thinks to do that with their products. And it's so much easier to do when you do have products that are unscented and don't have anything. Because now you can really customize them to how you'd like, and use the essential oils that you prefer, and make sure that those are coming from a good source. You know, because you don't know when there are these essential oils in beauty products, where they're coming from, how they're sourced. You know, some of them aren't that great for you and aren't good for your skin. So I like being able to know everything that's in my products. And when the list on the back of the bottle is not too long, that makes me feel better.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that we really wanted to try and do, is that you look at the back of the bottle and you know every single ingredient, and you don't even have to Google them. Like they're just obvious.
Love that.
And there's like a list this long, not a list, you know, really long.
Exactly.
The thing about,
for me, another like certain ingredient, like papaya. I can't have papaya on my skin. It just irritates it so much. And I noticed that lately that's in a lot of products that are natural products. And I understand why, but at the same time, those are the challenges I think that we have, and we wonder why our skin reacts in different ways. And if you don't know, I mean, I know from working with so many products that certain things will give me certain reactions, but if you're not aware of that, you can spend money on a product and then not even be able to use it if it has something in it that doesn't agree with your skin. And it may not be the brand, it may just be one ingredient that's in that brand.
Yes. Yeah. So it is hard to know what. So if there is a smaller ingredient list, then one, it's easier to see if you are going to be allergic to something, or you know, you don't have to like Google everything or go like, oh, it's that thing or it's that thing. And the thing about it is that it's all, you know, some of us, yes, are allergic to certain oils, and you know, if one of those oils is in our products, then, you know, I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is how we formulated it. But you'll know. And the thing is that you're less likely to be allergic to an oil than you are to a chemical that has been, you know, something's been done with it. And even when it comes from like a natural source, so like, you know, there's, I can't even think of the names. There's so many right now, but like, you know, for instance, coconut oil is used in so many different ways. It's been put into a lab that has done something with it, then that makes it this certain consistency that does something. So you might not be allergic to coconut oil, but you might be allergic to what the process that has gone through to then go in your product.
Exactly. I mean, that's always what I struggle with a lot of products. And I mean, I test a lot. I mean, in a year, it could be over 170 beauty products that I've gone through and tested and tried on my skin. And it's, you know, I'm at the point now where I really know. And so I can look at the back of something and just know instantly, not even if it's just for me, but how it will work just for people in general, you know, and on their skin, and what feels right. And what I know overall will be a good product for majority of people.
And so just to put a little sales pitch in here, like, you've tried our products because you were lucky enough to try them right in the beginning. I did. Obviously not many people have yet, which is what our aim is, to try and get out to everybody. So just what do you think of our products?
I love them immediately
to everyone, but how they feel. And
so you know, the first thing you see, I think, when you go into any store or when you're purchasing a product, you look at the aesthetics of it. It's just our first instinct is to look at something and say, like, that's pretty. I love the name and I love the packaging. That was it. But then the second I looked at the back of the bottles, I knew that I almost knew before I tried them how they were going to feel. And I think I said to you, I finished it like so quickly, because it was like I had all these other products to try, but I kept going back to yours because of the texture and the feeling. And then when I got out of the shower and I applied it to my skin, I just felt like it absorbed really well. I wasn't left with like a weird feeling or any residue. I felt like it did everything my skin needed, you know? And then left me with like a glow at the same time. And those are all the things we look for, you know? We don't want something to have a residue. We don't want it to feel sticky or, you know, like a weird texture to it. We want our skin to look beautiful after we use it. And those are all the things that kind of checked off my list.
And to get that consistency and to get that like non-greasiness that you have with oils has been such a hard task.
I feel like
and even like, you change a percentage 1 or 2% and it just changes everything. It makes it like, I've made batches at home that haven't been made at our manufacturers, and if you get like 1% wrong, it just like completely goes wrong. The texture's wrong.
I don't think anyone realizes what goes into the process of developing a natural skincare product. I mean, there's so many elements, because you're not using the artificial things to give it like a consistency, and you're not using the fake stuff to make it come together the way you need it to. So now you're trying to balance all these natural ingredients to make them work well for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like even our manufacturers, when we were in the process back in the beginning, were like, let's just put this in and let's just put this in because that will just make it nice and creamy and it will feel better. You know, just because it's the easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And we were like, nah, we're not, like, our motto is conscious beauty, no compromise. So we're not going to compromise on anything because then we're just like all the other greenwashing companies out there.
And it would, I mean, it always, I understand it always makes it easier, but I think long term, it's, besides it being better, you know, for you, I mean, it takes more of production to make it natural and to make it good for you. But I think for our skin, it's so much better too. Like you'll see the difference in using products that have all these fillers in it than when you have something that is so super natural and clean for your skin the instant you put it on and then continue to use it. So skincare is not just about like that first, it's so, I always think it's funny to me when someone like patch tests you like in a store and they make you feel it on the top of your hand. Like it always feels nice on the top of your hand. Oh yeah. No matter what you feel, it's like, oh yeah, I love the way that feels. Oh, that smells good, you know? But when you get into a product and you use it and you see on a daily basis how your skin is reacting to it, and over time, you know, like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and you're noticing that like your skin looks good all day long. It's not just, you know, that 1 hour that you put it on and now you're having to reapply anything. So I think those are the things that not everyone thinks about when they're buying skincare.
Yeah. And I was talking about that, I think it was yesterday when I was doing some how-tos, and I was like, I always used to use these like moisturizers at nighttime. You put them on and then in the morning you can still feel them on your face and you're like, it's just been sitting on my face all night and now I have to wash it off.
Yeah.
So it's like
you're just eating the purpose of like your own skin, you know, and what it can do.
There's just no point. Exactly. And that's what like hemp, which I've got the Evo hemp boys coming on tomorrow to talk about hemp. Because that's what hemp does, is it makes your skin, basically it resets it to give it how it should be. So, you know, you're never going to be 70 and have 20-year-old skin.
No.
But you're going to, you know, you want to look your age. You want to look as young, obviously, is what everyone wants to look as possible. But you want your skin to be healthy. Yeah. And that's the other thing about all of those nasty products, is that we don't know what it's doing to us, right?
And I think, to be honest, I've said it for the longest time, I think that they could do more harm than good in the long run. I think especially what you're putting on your face and around your eyes, anything like that, it's so important to know what you're putting on your skin, because it's not right now, but it's, you know, in 20 years, what is your skin going to look like? Has that product benefited you and kept you looking as youthful and vibrant as possible? Or has it just been a product that these, you know, companies got you to buy continuously and now your skin, you know, your skin hasn't changed? I personally believe that, you know, we naturally age. Our skin ages the way it needs to age, and we don't have a lot of control over that. But if you are using the right natural, good for you ingredient products, you will see that your skin becomes beautiful, you know, and it stays beautiful, and it will look alive. And that's more important than what the aging process does. Because the reason why you end up looking older is just because your skin doesn't look vibrant anymore. It's not about the wrinkles. It's not even about the sunspots or any of that. I've learned over time, it's more about, you know, how am I making my skin plump up? And, you know, how am I letting the natural oils come out and show? Those are the things that really make you look beautiful as you age.
Yeah, totally agree. That just reminded me of, like, I remember the first time I spoke to you, and because like hemp has come a long way, the same as like natural beauty has. And so when we first started talking, it was like, you know, there was still a little bit of a stigma around hemp and stuff, which is changing. And there was also like natural products are like, you know, they're like the hippie products. They're like what only natural people use. And I was like, it was so cool talking to you, who's in like this massive fashion industry. And that has changed.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that like likes that that's changed, but there's also a part of me that's like, it's changed, but people are lying about how it's changed.
Yes.
So people
Yes.
are saying, I've got a natural product, but it's actually not natural.
Mm-mm.
So what have you found over the last, like 3 or 4 years where that natural trend has kind of gone?
I mean, I've seen some of the biggest brands hop on that, natural product. And I laugh because when I go into even just like local drugstores, I have a habit of looking at the back of products, and my friends laugh at me because on Instagram, like I'll message someone, I'll do a video and I'll be like, this is natural. And I'll show like the ingredient list. And I think it's funny because, it turned into a marketing thing. And brands knew that people wanted organic, they wanted clean, but they still wanted to know the brand. And knowing the brand as a big brand, if they're not making their product better, there's no value in it. And I personally have found, and it's a lot harder for smaller brands to get out there because they're constantly competing with these bigger brands who have lower price points because they're selling a lot more product. But I found that when you can discover these, newer, smaller brands that put the love and care into their products, and they know everything that's going in it, they know every detail that's a part of it, that's the one that I tell my family and friends about, and they're always shocked, like, well, how did you find this, or where do I find it, or how do I get it? That's the struggle, is that there needs to be more room in the market for those to be seen. For those to be on TV and in magazines and not having to pay, a lot of people misunderstand that a lot of things you see on TV and a lot of things you see in magazines, in a way, were paid for. So maybe an editor is talking about a product, but 3 pages down, there's an ad for that product. So it was paid for. And smaller brands don't have an opportunity. They don't have a, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 budget to invest in an ad on a page just to get an editor to talk about it that she used in her beauty routine this weekend. Same with working with influencers or working with anyone. I think that's the struggle, is that you have the better product, but getting it out there and getting it seen is the challenge. And it always, will fall short because of it. And you're competing with these brands that aren't even doing what you're able to do, but still make it out because they have the budget and they have the ways to get in touch with people.
Yeah. And it's like, so if you're using a product and you were to go like onto their Facebook page or something, and it doesn't show who is behind the product, like it doesn't show who's made it, or the CEO or whatever, it doesn't show that person, then the likeliness is that that person that's running the company doesn't even know what's in the product.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or they'll know what's in the products, but they actually don't know what that specific ingredient, how toxic it is and what it's doing to you.
Yeah.
And they just don't know. And even if they did know, they probably would go, oh, well, never mind, we'll just keep it in there.
I would
they
say,
don't.
No, like be careful with, because a lot of, brands that you may have known for a long, smaller brands that got bigger, they get bought by bigger companies and they change the ingredients that are in the products. As well as we visit Italy, my family, a lot. And what is put in products in other countries, and then I'm in the US, what they allow here is so drastically different. So I've bought moisturizers in Italy, same brand, same everything, and then bought it here in the United States and read the back and saw completely different ingredients.
That's crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And it's a shame too, right? So it's like, I said again the other day, I was following these brands that I like looked up to and respected, and then I saw one of their new products and it's like full of all these fillers and toxic ingredients, and I'm like, you've just gone from like this amazing natural company to not.
Right.
And so that's why I think it's important, and that's why like I'm trying to be out here to be like, this is what we're doing and we need your help, because the more people that support like us and other companies like us, then those other big companies that put toxic ingredients in products won't exist.
Right.
Like, because if they don't sell anything, they're going to go under. And that's like, I know it's like a massive task to try and do. As same as with the organic food industry, right?
Yeah. And I think it's just, you know, doing stuff like talking about it and opening up the conversation and knowledge, you know, it really does do a lot, you know, understanding what you're putting in your body, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what your skincare is, all of those things matter so much. And you're the one in control of that. Like, don't let a brand who has really great marketing or cute packaging, which we all go for, just be your, you know, what sells you. Look at the cute packaging and then read the back of it. And let me say, if you can't understand what the ingredients are, they're probably not good.
Well, my big one is famous people's
I
products.
I know. And then you see, like, you know, you do just a little research and you find out that it's owned by like this mega company who like bought.
Or they've just gone and got something off the shelf from the manufacturers and they've put their own brand on it and they've no idea what's in it anyway.
Yeah, that's so common. That is so, I see it all the time.
Yeah. And that's what's unique about ours, is that we literally, like, it's our formulation. So we give our formulation to the manufacturer to make. They don't have any control over it whatsoever.
No, it's amazing. I mean, it really is. And it deserves to be talked about, and it deserves to be out there more for more people to try and experience and love, you know, like myself. I get this opportunity to find the brands, and more people need that chance too.
Because I think that like, it's important just for people to hear people chat about it, because I know that, like, when I talk about it the same as you, people are like, oh, really? And they kind of, you know, they kind of start to understand and get what we're talking about, because we're obviously very passionate about what we're talking about. Yeah. And so if we can even just fill people's hearts a little bit with that passion, then you know, I'm happy.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
So we're doing a 25% discount at the moment, which is going to be the only time we're going to discount, because we are trying to keep our prices as low as possible for an organic product, which are more expensive ingredients, unfortunately, which, again, if people support the organic industry in general, then those prices will go down.
Yes.
So I'd love you guys to help us and support us and grab some of our products while we are in our pre-launch mode. And we will have another catch up next week.
I look forward to it.